Yes, well, hello. This is Mark Woodruff with Woody Creative, and for some reason, I'm talking like this. Not sure why, because that's not how I talk. So we'll stop doing that. So this video, I'm just kind of winging it here, but I'm going to show you how to create these coach pages in WordPress in the theme that's called Divi into the booking plugin, which is this basically, that's called Bookly, Bookly. So this is a page in WordPress, which actually is called a project. Here's the WordPress dashboard. We're in WordPress and we're in the project series. You can see all the players' names. But before we create a project, and you can see up here, let's get it. It's the domain /project/ Kate Biggs. Before we can create this page, we have to first create this. It's refreshing. This booking functionality that'll show up over here for this player. So it's two things. One, it's a page, which is actually called a project in WordPress, but it's also pulling in a piece of code that is developed when you create. And so here we are in Bookly, when you create one of these staff member pages. So this, let's see, where's Kate Biggs? This information here in this staff member profile is what is populating over here when we say Kate Biggs. So Kate Biggs, who is soccer, and she's a forward, midfielder, defender, and we also have a no preference category. Where that's pulling from is because we created this Kate Biggs. It's moving slowly. So that's right here. This is the Kate Biggs profile. And if you remember the categories that we just referenced here, this is her main details, information. Email is very important. The phone is very important. Obviously, the name. But if you go to services, you'll recall, and we'll scroll down to, she is soccer. You remember it said, I think, soccer, forward, midfielder, defender, and no preference. So it's not soccer all, because if she did all those, and if you click this, it'll select everything. But we just select the things that she does, and we save it. So this is what you have to do first. And so let's start. We're going to create a new staff member. But first, let's see. Let's hold on here. Okay, we're popping over to our spreadsheet. Let's create a new. I think Alec Fuentes is a new staff member we need to create. So we're going to hit new staff member. Alec Fuentes. Save it to bring it in here. And it'll show you whatever you were in previously. So I'll start with the details. Don't worry about this, at least now. Eventually we'll probably have the, this allows the end user, the coach, the staff member, to actually log in and have a WordPress user account, and log in and manage their own calendar. And we'll probably eventually do that. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to copy the email address, paste it there, copy the phone, paste it there. And then, and if you don't, you have to have an email address, because the system has to at least be able to send them email. If you also include the phone, it lets them over here, the SMS notifications, it lets them also, you can turn it on so it'll send a text to them as well. The info here, it looks like usually we go into this area and we grab whatever this stuff is. You know, if this were, we paste it directly, but actually we don't have the info. There's no info listed for this person. So he's football, and he's a wide receiver and a cornerback. So we'll save this initial information, and settings are saved. So we're going to go over here to the services, just football. So we'll scroll down to football. And so wide receiver and cornerback. So cornerback's going to be defensive back. Receiver, the category that is called just receiver. For every person, we also need to select no preference, because this basically means that Well, they don't do football all. They do, if he didn't have a specialty, we would say just no preference. That lets the user at least say, well, I just want him for football. This way you'll see football receiver as a specialty, football defensive back, but it also, if the user does not necessarily care and they just want to hire that kid, this gives them a comfort level to say, well, I don't know what I want. I don't care. And they just have to select no preference. Of course, if he also was soccer, you go in here and select, whatever the soccer things are, because we have some people who are multi-sport. Okay, so we save this. Settings saved. The next thing is we'll click on the schedule, pop back over to the calendar. Shoot, we don't have, okay, well, this person can't really go live yet because we don't have, if we'd had Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or in this one, any week, we should have done this one, any weekday after 4, Saturdays. Let's say we're looking for that. Any weekday after 4 and Saturdays. Would go in here and say any week after 4. Okay, the system already by default is 8 to 8. You can't go before or after that. But so if it was any weekday after 4, you'd come in here and say 4, and these are in hour chunks, so we would do it here too. Tuesday, and I mean if Tuesday was 2 p.m., obviously you can set those. You can also put a break, but we don't really. If somebody said 2 to 8 p.m., but I need off between 5 and 6 p.m., you could add a break in there like that. So I am going to put these back to 8 a.m. for now because we don't have this information yet for this person. And if they're off on Sundays, then you would just go up here to off. Okay, so I'm going to save this, even though this person isn't really ready to go live. I think I'm actually going to create let's create a new, this person's saved. Don't worry about days off. And we'll add an image later, but let's go ahead and create another one that actually has, let's create this one, Russell. So Russell, THAMM, I'm going to copy that email address right now. Russell, THAMM, save that person. And let's go to details, email, it's copied, so I have to get rid of those. Phone number, it's right here, and I grab his, I'll go right to here, copy that, and paste it in here. And if there's any typos, of course, Warrior State Champs is not capitalized. Leader for Life is a program. Playing college football is not capitalized, and that's not really a sentence. We'll take that period out, and then we will. So that's good. We'll save that. Okay, so that should look good. So now let's go to services, and those. Did I? No, I don't remember. Did I just paste that in there? Okay, I did. Services, it's just football and quarterbacks. So football, quarterbacks, and remember that we want to also do football, no preference. So somebody can pick basically in case they don't just want to hire that person regardless of whether he does quarterbacks or not. Okay, and then the last thing is going to be schedule. In this schedule, any weekday after 4 and Saturdays. Okay, so weekday after 4, weekday after 4. The system, by the way, is set up so that if they say I can only go until 6 p.m. or 4 to 6 p.m. You can select 6 p.m. over here. You don't have to select 5 p.m., meaning it's an hour-long thing. So if you select 6 p.m., the system will automatically make it so that the last hour-long session starts booking at 5 p.m. You won't be able to book this person at 6 p.m. Just like here, you won't be able to book them at 8 p.m. The last session you can book them for is 7 p.m. So this is availability. You don't need to accommodate for the extra hour. Or for the hour. Okay, so weekdays after 4 and Saturdays. So if it's Saturdays, if they don't specify, I just leave it all day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and off. If, by the way, we needed a change in the system to make it so that everything is only, that we only go until 7 p.m., that's a global setting that you do over here, like in the settings. So we'll save this. And then, so this is Russell. I think we've already created his image in here. Let me see. Okay, more than you need to see. My player is, should have already done this. Okay, he's already in there. We already created this for him. But as you can see, that all of the bio images are 450 pixels wide by 321 tall. So I'm going to show you real quick. He's already in there. Yeah, let's go ahead and add him. So we're going to add his image here. This makes him available in the back end. Here he is. So I'm going to select him. This is a little weird, so I'm going to save this. Here's kind of, sometimes you'll save it and the image is a little funky. It won't show up. So usually I do is save it. Then I'll go back over to another section. You can see it's still there. And I'll save it again. So you might need to do that if it doesn't show up. So I'm gonna refresh this page, go back to staff members, and see if Russell is showing up. It'll be, I think, at the end. There it is. Okay, it's working. You see we didn't add it to Alex. So also we alphabetize these. So TH, I'll drag them up to, we go right there, THAM. I'm going to leave Alec at the bottom. We're not going to build a page for him yet. Okay, so now Russell has a page, and we're going to go to now. So he basically has this information. Now we need to create his page here on the left. So what we're going to do, you can do this almost anywhere. You can go up here to new, and it's not a post, it's not a page, it's a project. Or you can go here into projects, add new. There's several ways you can do it. So I'm going to create a new page, and new project page. And we're going to call it by his name, TJMM. Usually type that in first. The very first thing you really need to do is go over here to the right under page layout. If you don't do this at first, you can't do it later. So you have to do it now. You change it from right sidebar to full width. So do that first, okay? So the next thing we're going to do, this is a blank WordPress page, but we use this Divi theme, and it has the Divi Builder, which is a cool little functionality. So click the Divi Builder. We're going to use the Divi Builder, and you'll see some new functionality appears, and everything's sort of blank right now. You don't need to know too much about this, but the next thing we're going to do is we're going to load in a layout that's already built. That's sort of a pre-established layout. You go in here to your saved layouts, and the one we've been using is called the project page 2018-323 is the layout that we're using. So what this is going to do is I think it'll replace all the content on the page, and we only had, no, it doesn't. So it pastes that new layout down here. So basically now we just go in and delete this one. The way this works is this is called a section, and this is called a row, I think. And inside a row are modules. So it's blue, green, gray. We're going to get rid of this section, which gets rid of everything inside it. So if I were to just go in here and hit preview right now, it'll open this up in a new window. So you can see what this looks like before you begin to edit it, the template that we've created. We're only viewing this locally. Oh, you know what? I loaded the wrong one. I loaded the all coaches template. And that's good that I did that because that lets you see what that page looks like, and not that we need it, but your saved layouts, it's actually right here, the coach bio template, not the all coaches, it's the coach, which makes sense, bio template from March 15th, okay? And I'm going to hit replace existing content, so I don't have to delete that other stuff. It'll paste this into place. Okay, so now let's preview this, and that'll refresh, and you'll see the new bio template in here. So that's what the blank template looks like. We just use an existing person's name. It shows you sort of that a photo goes here, you have this information, and there's booking information over to the right. So now let's go through and change all this stuff. So we'll start with the image, and we're going to upload an image to replace it. It should already be in the media library. If it weren't, you can go here to upload files and find it on your computer. So it's in the media library. There he is. It's Russell. And if it doesn't say full size, make sure it says full size. And we're going to set this as that image. There you go. Save it. I'm going to jump over here real quickly, just because while we're doing photos, you also need to set the featured image, which is really what makes it. The image we just set is this one, but the featured image is the one that shows up under something like the All Coaches page that we just saw. Here, this is this featured image will pull in there. So there's two different ones. Okay, so let's add that featured image real quickly. It's the same image, but we just need to set the featured image. So we're going to set his image as the featured image there. Okay, so I haven't been doing a lot of project tags. His category is football, so you check that box. And don't worry too much about where that comes from. Okay, so we already did the image. Now let's do the text. And I think it starts like this. This is the HTML view. If you really want to look at it in this visual view, you might prefer that. It's probably good to get used to what the HTML view looks like. H2 basically says that's a headline category number 2. It starts with that piece of code, and then we end the H2 headline code with that. Here's an H3 headline. It's a little bit smaller. It says, hey, make anything following this be an H3 headline. And that slash says, all right, now in the H3 headline. And this is just regular paragraph text. So lacrosse, soccer, track. So let's now look at it in the visual. There's the regular text. There's the H3, a little bit smaller. There's the H2. And anytime you go down and check this little eyeball, it will show you what it's going to look like. You're still looking at it locally, but here's your H1 text, or H2 text. It's a little bigger than the H3. Here's regular paragraph. Here's another H2, regular paragraph, H2, regular paragraph, etc. So let's now edit this with Russell, THA, dang it, AMM, back this up. Be careful about hitting this delete key. If I hit delete right now, it'll pull this H2 up and turn it into an H3. I'll show you. Look, now the coaching activities is an H2. We didn't want that. So let's do this again. I'm going to delete it all the way back to just the S. Now I'll go down here. Coaching activities, keep that the same. So we're going to say quarterback, QBs. Oops, coaching activities. I'm sorry, that should be football. And positions, QBs. We'll back this up just very carefully. Key accomplishments. Here's one of the reasons I like going into this, because you have total control. So I'm just going to highlight key accomplishments, go over here and copy that, and I'm going to paste it over that. I should have pasted it from the other one, or corrected it here, because now we've corrected again. Team state champs, bigger for life, and playing college football. We'll get rid of the period. Okay, availability for coaching. Any weekday after 4 and Saturdays. So let's say Monday through Friday is kind of the formatting we've been doing after 4, and then all day Saturday is the other format. Okay, so this person also, this column over here says all, that means all ages. So ages to coach, all. And we'll check this again to make sure that there was nothing that got funky in the formatting. So this looks good. Here's the age 2, age 3, football, quarterback position, field building. Everything looks good. All right, so we're going to save this and move on to this third section, which is a little funky. Now this is all of this, and it's not going to be as complex as this one looks. By the way, you can see when there's more than one, this person booked for lacrosse or booked for soccer, that they have more than one thing. This lets the person determine which they want to book for. So the so you can see this is what it looks like, and actually they're available for 3 different categories. So book this coach, here it is, book for lacrosse, there's the code, book for soccer, there's the code. This little piece of code is what creates everything. So for lacrosse, everything from here down is basically generated, pulled in from this one little piece of code. Okay, so let's do this. In this case, we're going to get rid of everything below there because there's only one, and they are football. I don't know why we capitalize it. So we'll go to the next line. You can do this in the visual or the text, and it's this little widget called Add Bookly Booking Form. It's not the other ones. It's just Add Bookly Booking Form. And what it's going to do is it's basically now going to tap into this information that we created. Where is it? This information here, and the services and the schedule. It's going to pull that by using code. So I usually start by type in RUS, and there he is, Russell. We hide the date, the weekdays, and the time because it just gets messy. Here it's not done. You can see the day, the weekdays, and the time. We don't need to list that because it just gets a little messy. We don't want to hide the field completely, but we're gonna list his name. So we're gonna put football as the main category. And then we're going to hide that field just because otherwise it'll sort of duplicate it. And then if he had multiple values here, like if it were football, he did quarterbacks, offensive line, defensive line. Basically, you can just pick one. And these aren't alphabetized. I think they're put in the list that they were originally put into the system. But if you wanted to say football, no preference, if they did everything for football, nobody's going to do everything for football. You could say football all, which is in here somewhere. You could say football, no preference. We checked quarterbacks and no preference. Both of those will show up in a drop down. I'll show you. So in this case, you can say football quarterbacks because really that's what he specializes in, and we're not going to hide that field. Okay, so we'll insert that code, and that's what that code looks like. So you don't have to really code it. You just kind of use the widget. So let's see what it looks like here. Test it. It's over here. So it's hiding his name, and it shouldn't be doing that. So football quarterbacks. So when you see from the drop down, remember we checked quarterbacks and no preference over here under services, and that's why you see quarterbacks and no preference are able to show up here, quarterbacks and no preference. The default we selected in the code was quarterbacks, which is why you see it defaulted there. But I'm going to redo this because for some reason the person's name didn't show up. So I must have done that wrong. So let's try it again. Russell. And we're going to hide everything, but we're not going to hide his name. The category is football. We are going to hide that first category. The default service is quarterbacks, and we're not going to hide that field. So let's see if that is different. So now we should have it in here twice, but let's see if it works. Okay. Yeah, that's working. So, and it's in here twice. We're going to erase the second bit of code, but here you go. Football quarterbacks. This will look better in the actual system. And Russell. Okay, so let's delete this is the one that didn't work, so we're going to delete that. I mean, if you were to actually delete that little thing, the whole thing's broken. So you got to be careful about things like that. So save and exit. Now let's preview this. It should be pretty close to being ready. So all this is going to change. Jonah, the image should show up. There's the image. So Russell, we already tested this. We know that that's good. So now book for football, and you can see football quarterbacks and Russell. So this is accurate. Okay. Now, I think everything else is good to go, and we can actually publish this one. Before, when it was in preview mode, or if you just hit save draft, you're only looking at it locally, or it's not publicly available. So as soon as this is published, now let's go out to, we'll need to refresh this page or go back to the all. Well, let's try to go into football as a category. And it should be the first one. Okay, there he is. So this is live. He's available. Let's just make sure looking at him actually live on the page. So before we're looking at a preview, this page is live and published. And that should be everything that you need to know on how to create the staff member page and then create a project page. So if we refresh these projects, we'll now, we should see him in here under, where did he go? Let's see. That's all. Okay. You can also drag and reorder these, just as you did. So we're going to do that too. So we always know that they're always alphabetized. THAM right there. And let's see if we have any others that need to be alphabetized. Now, I think the other one, this one actually we're going to put in the trash. And there was we just created another one. I'm not sure where it went. Okay, so that should be everything you need to know. And let me take a minute because there might be a couple other things we want to add on to this. No, I think that's it. I'm going to try to put this on YouTube also. And I probably should have told you early on that if you want to speed this up, or you can obviously change the speed in YouTube if you want to watch it a little faster, because it ended up being 28 minutes or so. So, but that hopefully that's helpful.